Okay, good afternoon, all of you. I am Sonal. I am a postdoctoral fellow with Professor Sanjay Mahajani. I am personally working on garden waste management through pelletization and gasification. But I also look after the different projects in waste management area at Tata Center. So today I will be giving you brief overview about how we are planning for having an integrated solid waste management facility at IIT Bombay campus with the objective of turning this campus to a zero waste campus. So I will be talking about different technologies that are involved in this waste management integrated facility, and different research groups are working on each of those technologies. So I will just go through each of them and explain our overall goal. Just gives a brief overview of the type of municipal solid waste which we have in India. The big blue dots shows cities which are generating close to 10,000 tons of waste per day, and that's only the municipal solid waste which I am talking about. Mumbai, you can see somewhere here on the left, which produces more than 9,000 tons waste per day. So the problem with Indian MSW is it's very high in moisture content, but in spite of that, because it contains a substantial amount of organic fraction in it, we can get an average calorific value of 7.3 megajoule per kg, which implies that there is a huge potential which could be tapped out of this waste if we try to convert this waste to mainly energy. Okay, so when we say waste, so the problem which we are targeting here is waste management, and these are some numbers which gives us the rough data of how much waste is generated in cities like Mumbai, and how much of it is being treated actually, and obviously the failure of the plants made by BMC or other municipal corporations. And if we go for dumping these waste in the landfills, then there are certain issues such as high transportation costs, some fire issues we had couple of years back, and obviously the scarcity of land and the emissions which are coming out of the landfill. So we need to get rid of this problem. So when we have this kind of problem, can we really turn this waste into an asset? By asset I mean some usable form, or either we reduce it so that the problem is minimized. So obviously when we convert waste to energy, some load over the fossil fuels would be reduced, so we can look for that, and obviously we should provide a sustainable solution. It should not be we come up with a short-term solution which is lasting working at some place at some point of time, and at other place at other point of time it fails. So answer to this is usually yes, we can go for this sustainable solution approach, and ideal approach in this case would be these 3 R's and recovery and smart disposal. But as a chemical engineer, I would be more interested in this recovery and smart disposal, because those 5 technologies which are going to talk about, they are mainly targeted or focused on this recovering maximum out of waste by some different treatments, chemical or physical treatments. And if at all we can't do anything for a specific component of waste, how do we dispose it smartly? So with this we come to our mission of the project or the facility at Tata Center, or we wanted to develop integrated, cost-effective, a eco-friendly integrated waste management system. And the approach to this would be starting right from our campus, setting IIT Bombay campus itself as a zero waste campus, develop a model and show its efficacy, and then roll it out for others to follow. Obviously, we need to put on all the conditions and clauses that need to be taken into account if a similar model has to be adopted at a different place or a different campus. So this is the IIT Bombay campus, which area is about 560 acres and a floating population of 25,000. It has 17 hostels, which means 17 mess, which are generating huge amount of food waste especially. And there is almost 10,000 trees belonging to different species in the residential area, where the sweeping takes place. Yesterday Professor Mahajani spoke about garden waste collection and disposal. It's regarding those are the number of trees which are we come into account when we do road sweepings. So I'll just take you through the waste management activities and processes that are going on at present at IIT Bombay campus. And acknowledgement goes to all these faculty members and their research groups who have worked on each of these individual technologies, and obviously the PhD students and postdocs who are working in these areas. So first of all, it was important to carry a waste audit. We need to know how much waste and what kind of waste we are generating on campus. So that's the data audit we took, and we found that wet waste is about 5 tons and dry waste was 1 ton. and majority of it was like discarded, going to the landfill. No, this is for per day. It's tons per day. So IIT generates about 6 to 6.5 tons per day, out of which we were like sending 4.05 tons to the landfill. And our target is to like bring this number as close to zero as possible. So we also did like a survey of what kind of waste are included in that, and for that we had this developed an app which where the like a waste picker or the truck, whenever it collects and dumps waste, it makes note of how much is the waste and how much is the dry waste. And on a daily basis, those data are entered and which is available on the server like web page of IIT Bombay. Then we also did tree census because because it's a green campus, we are facing issue because of garden waste also. So to like quantify it, we had done tree census, and this was like brought to our notice. Like we generate 2 to 3 tons per day only leaves waste. There are other waste also, wood, branches, but they have got some value, could be sold to contractor. But we can't send like the entire amount of these leaves to composting. Some of it is still going to composting, but it's very small amount, because for composting we prefer like food waste or like raw kitchen waste mainly. So here we came up with that pelletization and gasification as a solution. So now like after this, doing waste audit and like gathering data about different kinds of waste and total waste generated in campus at different points of time, we come up with these solutions like window composting, plastic pyrolysis, gasification and pelletization, bioreactor landfill, and biogas plant. So out of these 5, these 4 we are planning to have in our waste like integrated waste facility, and biogas plant is already in operation on campus, and one more we are going to have it, but it will be separated from that site. So first is the pelletization and gasification. This Professor Mahajan had like briefly touched upon. So we do have like this GIS mapping, this database where we know like, because we did tree census, we know like what kind of trees are available or where the density is highest in the campus, and garden waste is collected from such areas and even from the road sweepings, and it is transferred to the threshing machine or sieve machine to separate sand, soil, and like bigger wood picks and branches from the leaves, and those leaves are captured and further shredded so that it can go to the pelletizer. I have shown here dryer, but we usually don't work in the like monsoon period because the energy economics doesn't work out. If we have very moist or very wet leaves, we need to spend a lot of energy in drying it. But rest 8 months of the year, we get dry leaves as a feedstock, which can be directly sent to pelletizer after these processes. And these pellets are then available to be used as a feedstock in gasifier. So in terms of energy, like 60 to 65 kg pellets, it's equivalent to 1 LPG cylinder, like the household LPG cylinder, and it works out economically. Like in terms of raw material, we are able to save like a lot on operation and maintenance cost. When we like did some cooking trials on gasifier in one of the hostels in IIT Bombay. So in this the research component where it was involved, like the gasifiers which are existing in market, they are mainly for low ash feedstock such as wood or some other biomass which has ash content less than 5%. But if we use those gasifiers, especially downdraft gasifiers on feedstock having higher than 5% ash, this ash melts in the combustion zone where temperature sometimes crosses 1000 degrees centigrade. And this molten ash forms clinker-like structure like a stone, which blocks the flow of fuel in the reactor, and the continuous production of syngas or producer gas is stopped. As a result, we don't get consistent flame. So we designed a gasifier and optimized the different process parameters so that it could be operated on the biomass feedstock or even coal feedstock up to ash content of 20%. That's what we have tested in our lab. And whatever garden waste which we are getting here, the ash content in that varies from 10 to 20%. Sometimes ash content increases mainly because of this collection and sweeping method. A lot of sand, soil, and dust, it gets mixed up with the leaves, adding to the inorganics in the final feedstock. We came up that gasifier design. We did patent it, and then we hired a cook tool because these gasifiers can be used for like either power generation or for thermal application. Because we don't have like a lot of cleaning measures in it except for one small gas solid separator, no filters, no tar removal and all. So we targeted mainly the thermal applications such as community cooking. There are a lot of cook stoves in market at smaller scale for household cooking, but for community level cooking, something like this would be really helpful. And We presented our case study on garden waste feedstock, but even the agro waste feedstock, which could be pelletized and like used in the form of briquettes, can also be processed in this gasifier. And we have tested it for cotton stock in addition to garden waste. So the next technology, the group working is on composting. I won't go into details of composting, but they have developed like different horizontal and vertical composting bins, and have tried to reduce the total time taken for mature compost from 3-4 months, which is in a real compost pit which we have on campus right now, to 30 to 40 days. And then they tested the parameters of those compost with the Fertilizer Control Order of India, and it seems to like they got those parameters within the limits. So we can say that okay, the compost is really a mature compost which could be packed and sold. So this is one of the like horizontal composting system which the team is working on, and they claim to like get mature compost within a duration of 31 to 40 days. And it's being operated like on a continuous basis, like on a daily basis you can have feeding, and it's being rotated like manually now, but they are going to make some automation in it, so that, but again like this is at laboratory scale now, and if it is successful we can definitely like have the similar composting unit in our integrated waste management facility. Third was the biogas plant. This is already in existence at IIT Bombay. The technology was developed by BARC. It's known as Nisarg Donor technology. The capacity for this plant was 2 tons per day, and the main feed in like going to this plant is a food waste. Like I told you, like 4 tons of food waste is generated from hostels. So we actually need 2 plants like that. And if you want to manage entire food waste in IIT Bombay campus, so then that's the reason we have ordered 1 more plant. But that's why other technology called as GPS, because that sounds to be like more efficient than this. So this right now it is in operation, and it is running at the feed of like 1500 kg food and kitchen waste on a daily basis. But we are able to achieve only 50 to 60 meter cube of biogas with 40 to 50% of methane. Actually, it should be like the ideal case would be like achieving 60% methane and 100 meter cube of biogas minimum. Ideally, 2 tons should give like 200 meter cube of biogas, but that's where like the research group is working on like examining and trying like finding out ways to improve the efficiency of this biogas plant. Fourth was plastic. Obviously, the plastic is another like the very naughty component of the municipal solid waste, and because of like there are different kinds of plastics involved, it becomes very difficult to treat all of them together. Even if we say like pyrolysis is one of the solutions, it gets like tricky if we are dealing with PVC or like some plastics containing sulfur. So right now at pyrolysis is basically this thermal breakdown of plastic at high temperature into oil, gas, and like solid is like carbon, and all these, each of these 3 products are useful. The gas generally produced in the pyrolysis plants is being used for providing heat for this endothermic reaction of pyrolysis. This is a laboratory setup which we have, and the team has worked on testing different catalysts to obtain a good quality of what we call as bio oil, and to check whether we can incorporate the properties similar to that of diesel in that bio oil. But okay, the constraint here is whatever polythenes or plastics we have been like dealing with, they are the ones mainly polyethylene and polypropylene and polystyrene. We haven't dealt with polyvinyl chloride or because there are other issues which need to be taken into account. But to start with, this was a good and there are many like PE, PP bags which can be found in IIT Bombay campus. So these are some ongoing studies where they are studying the effect of temperature, effect of different types of plastic, and catalytic and non-catalytic ways of pyrolyzing these plastics. And these are some of the results. I'll just go through them. Okay, finally is the bioreactor landfill. In these 4 technologies which I mentioned before, if at all some waste is still remaining, when we bring like entire waste from the campus to the processing site, we may not be able to take care of all waste. So whatever is remaining would be sent to this bioreactor landfill. It will be a systematically engineered, a modern kind of landfill where emissions would be tapped on, and that emissions could be used further for some energy application purpose. But again, the capacity of this would be a limited one, so we have to make sure the other 4 processes work to their fullest capacity and efficiency. So this is the approved layout for integrated solid waste management plant at IIT Bombay, which has been approved by the institute. The land has been provided by the IIT Bombay, and Tata Center has invested in like building the shed and the basic facility there, and we are now like procuring, like giving tenders for buying those equipments required in these areas. I would like to again mention that in individual laboratories by different research groups, the research is being like carried on in each of these areas, and we want to bring those technologies from that lab or pilot scale to this facility. So here, obviously, like when we say waste to management or waste to energy or waste to wealth, where does this profit lies in? So there should be some kind of entrepreneurship opportunity when we say like why would people or why companies or government would invest in treating or collecting or processing of waste. So here is like a rough sketch like which we have drawn. Like if we are targeting to convert IIT Bombay into a zero waste campus and like propose a model which could be followed or adapted by other institutes or other organizations. So it will like bring on investment, and it can help us like in formulating policies also. But again, like the market has to be tapped. Like if we are making compost out of it, we need to make sure that that compost is going to be used somewhere. Like we are making pellets from garden waste, we make sure that they are going to be used in the gasifiers installed in our hostel messes, and we save on the LPG that we otherwise would have bought for like our mess cooking operations. So similar to that, then the dissemination. And obviously, since the ongoing research will be continued at this facility as well, and irrespective of that facility in different labs, so we can provide some kind of consultancy through this integrated waste facility model. So I'm coming to my concluding remarks. The first thing when we talk about waste management is like we should know our waste like properly, so quantity, quality, and composition. Then appropriate selection of technology and obviously the site based on the type of waste, and that's what gives this approach universality. Like I mean, when I say integrated waste management facility, I don't mean to say only these 5 technologies. There might be 10 other technologies which can be which can work well in other areas for other kinds of waste. Like in Sweden, they just go with one technology and incinerate everything because their kind of waste is different with low moisture content. So it need not be always the integrated waste management. It depends on the site and the nature of waste, but that's what like adds to the universality of this solution. But definitely integrated waste management solution is a way to go ahead, and there is a potential of having a profitable business model in it if we like optimize the capacity of different units, taking into account those factors which are mentioned in the entrepreneurship slide, the market and the availability of waste. So finally, I would just like to end by saying like zero waste campus thing is possible. And it can be like a starting solution because it's easy to create awareness about waste segregation, where people talk about like segregation is the biggest problem in waste. But in an educational institute like IIT or any other institute where a lot of people are like residentially and educated, I think achieving this higher level of waste segregation is easy. And once we have this kind of facilities there to treat those waste on campus, I think zero waste campus is possible. Thank you. So individual, so we have started working on integrated facilities since 1.5 years, but individual technologies we have been working on 4 years.
So as of today,
no, as of today we just have land approved and the budget approved for setting up the facility.
vertically it is possible.
Yes.
So if it is a highly educated mass living in IIT campus,
Yeah, segregation is possible.
so first my suggestion is that you must have a complete plan regarding collection and segregation.
Yeah.
Because of an ordinary person, we cannot think of
Uh,
solid waste facing this kind of thing.
Okay, so we have started with segregation, and like Professor Mahajani mentioned yesterday that right now like close to 100% families are segregating their waste in wet and dry waste.
If we think to the developed world,
then already what my point of view, well, only implementation part is there. So research part is already there. You mentioned about say you showed a picture. So theoretically everything can be presented here.
Yeah.
And lot of work in Udaipur we are doing. And one of my colleague Dr. Anil Kumar, where is he? So better work has been done already by him. So we can also interact, and what I want from environmental point of view, this is a very important issue, and so many times I see advertisement on the net also, this TV. Amitabh Bachchan is saying that and that, what kind of thing, but nothing I find practically. So that kind of thing, we should think that way.
Yeah, definitely. So right now, practically, we just have biogas plants on campus, which is treating 2 tons of waste.
Dr. Pawar can also take over there.
Yes, garden waste pellets.
They have also tried on this kind of briquettes, open photos,
Yeah.
a lot of problems because biomass and poor mobility, it will not go elevation that temperature and loss of
Yeah.
so walking is required.
Yeah. So no. So bigger the particle size and the moisture, based on the moisture content, that cavity formation or the bridging increases. That's why we didn't go for briquettes, but we opted for pellets. Pellets.
We have also tried on pellets, small kind of basic also. We operated especially on pellets.
Okay.
Still we are facing the problem of walking is required frequently, otherwise after 30 minutes or 50 minutes.
True, but there is a grate provided at the bottom of the gasifier, which could be moved at regular intervals. Yeah, we have to make sure that the grate is moved frequently, so that the bed is not lying idle for a longer time. Because like the commercial gasifiers which are coming in market, they are like some sort of cylindrical, conical, and then cylindrical. Or else like it's conical and then cylindrical, and that shift in design, like it gives a lot of residence time to those pellets, and if the moisture content is beyond 10%, there is a high tendency they can form a bridge. But some change, like having it like parallelly vertically, like in a parallel cylinder form, or else in the existing design, if we have a grate which is moved at regular intervals of time, it will keep on those bed like moving twisted clockwise or anti-clockwise, and it will ensure that no bridging takes place. None of the pellets would be lying idle for a longer time if grate is continuously moved. Also, another solution is like instead of sending entire air from the bottom of the gasifier near the combustion zone, try sending maximum air through the drying zone where a lot of pellets are already there, so it gets dried quickly.
So we have also tried to provide the air when we are from the top side, then certainly it will accommodate the air from the grate and fire come out from the top side.
Yeah.
In spite of gasification, it start the combustion. This kind of problem we have faced.
No, I think we can discuss this off the line, because I would be,
One more question on pyrolysis. We have also tried on biomass pyrolysis.
biomass pyrolysis.
Yes. So we face a problem because we are getting a more water content in the oil.
Yeah, that.
How you separate this bio with this water content from the your oil, bio oil?
Here we haven't tried pyrolysis for biomass, but we have done pyrolysis only for plastic, and there we did not face this issue. Yeah, for biomass we are doing like pyrolysis is one of the steps which is happening in gasifier, but the pyrolyzed biomass comes in the reduction zone and gasification zone, and it gets like gasified. So we are not facing any problem. We don't have a separate pyrolyzer for biomass.